My name is Jason Higgins, and I am an intern with the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program at the OSU Library. Along with me today is Dr. Tanya Finchum, and we are in Stillwater, Oklahoma to speak with Ben Landis and discuss his experiences during and after serving in the United States military. This is part of the Spotlighting Oklahoma Oral History project. Ben, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. What's your full name?
Benjamin Grant Landis.
Right. And when and where were you born?
I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma at St. John's, and I was born in 1984, December 5th.
1984. You're a little older than I thought.
I am old, yeah.
You're older than I am. Wow. Who are your parents?
Elisa Adair is her maiden name.
Okay.
And they've been married for about 30 years now, I think.
What's your father's name?
Dan Landis.
Dan Landis.
Yeah.
And what do they do for a living?
My dad is a sales associate for United Technologies or General Electric. I can't remember which one. They've bought and sold the companies back and forth between the two. So he's just a regional manager for sales for that company.
Okay. And does your mom work?
Yeah, my mom is a nurse. She works for the county. So basically she does health prevention. So she'll go into a hospital and make it to where people with chronic diseases are able to, doctors are able to treat chronic diseases better for medical records and stuff like that. So she updates medical records, and I think she helps them write code to where they can talk. The programs can talk between each other.
Oh, okay. Which county?
I think it's the eastern part of the United States, or not the United States, but eastern part of Oklahoma.
Okay.
So like Tahlequah, Sallisaw,
Okay.
some clinics in South Tulsa,
And did you say that they lived in Tulsa?
they live in Tulsa.
Okay.
Actually, Broken Arrow.
And is that where you grew up?
I grew up in Bixby.
Bixby. How
Yeah.
far is that from here?
From
Stillwater.
Gosh, about an hour and a half from Stillwater, an hour and 45 minutes.
Is that a large town?
No, it has about 25,000 people in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it like growing up there? Is it a rural farming community or more?
It used to be. It's kind of like a transition between rural farming community and a suburb of Tulsa.
Oh, okay.
So, if you go south of the Arkansas River, it's very rural.
Okay.
Yeah. But I grew
And-
up on the north side, so I was in suburbia, basically.
Suburbia.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you go to high school there?
I went to high school there, yeah.
What was the name of the high school?
Bixby High.
Bixby High.
Yeah.
Okay. How many students were in your graduating class?
320, I think.
Okay. What was your favorite subject in high school? Did you have a favorite subject?
Not really. I liked history.
Okay.
Let's see here. I just like playing basketball. That's pretty much all I did. I played basketball.
Did you play for the Bixby High School
Yeah,
team?
I did.
Any other sports?
I did the long jump.
The long jump.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's because I needed something to do to stay in shape.
Okay, cool. So did you participate in like track and field events at all too?
Well, not anymore, but yeah, I did.
Did
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what year did you graduate high school?
2004.
I did too.
Yeah.
So what did you do after high school?
Well, I saved up for a mission. I'm Mormon, so I saved up for a mission, and then I decided that it wasn't really for me, and I took the money that I saved up for a mission, and I went to college at NOC for about 2 semesters, and then I transferred to OSU for a semester, and then I drank my way out. I believe that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you raised in a conservative family?
Yeah, fairly conservative. My mom's a Democrat. My dad is a Tea Party Republican now.
Well,
So,
not
yeah.
necessarily political.
Yeah.
Did you get in any trouble whenever you were a kid, or were you pretty reserved as a child growing up?
I was very reserved as a child, and more into my teenage years, I was probably more rambunctious. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did you ever meet any teachers or professors who became role models for you and led you to go to college at OSU or NOC?
No, not really. I just knew that I needed to go to college. I I knew that I needed to do that.
For financial reasons?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is there a large Mormon community in Oklahoma? Where you're from?
No, me and my brothers and my cousins were the only members that went to my school.
Okay.
So it wasn't a very large community where I'm initially from. I think we have about 5,000 Mormons in the Tulsa area.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 10, like somewhere in there.
So where did you guys congregate?
We went to Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow, okay.
Yeah.
And where are your parents from?
My dad is from the Chicagoland area.
Okay.
So I think Aurora, Illinois is where he's actually from. And my mom's from Shidler, Oklahoma. Like she was born in Shidler or she was born in Tulsa. One of the two.
Okay. When did you join the military?
I joined in 2008.
Let's back up a minute. You said you drank your way out of OSU.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a story about that?
I was stupid. That was the story. I never really drank before. You know, since I was Mormon, I never drank. And whenever I started drinking, I drank fairly hard.
What decisions led you away from being a missionary?
I didn't really believe it at the time. You know, I didn't think that it was appropriate for me to go around for 2 years preaching something that I didn't believe. And that upset my parents a lot because I was the oldest, that I didn't go on a mission.
Did your siblings continue in those footsteps, or did they follow your path? Or their
My
own
brother,
path?
he's about 13 months younger than me. He went on his mission, but he went after graduating from TU.
Okay. And
And Clinton, he's not doing anything really. So.
okay. And where was your mission planned? In the United States or outside? Did you get that far?
You don't get that option. Once you turn in your papers to Salt Lake City, they direct you where they need you.
Okay.
So it could be in the United States, it could be in South America, Europe,
Oh, so it's
Africa.
more organized.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm from the southeastern United States, so it's not each church is its own entity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was curious if you were from Utah, or if your parents or anyone in your family was from Utah.
No, my mom was reorganized.
Okay.
So she's they didn't go over to Utah with the rest of them. They stayed there. So she was a reorganized LDS. That's how she grew up. My great grandpa was a preacher for the
Okay.
reorganized LDS church.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And is that how your parents met? Through the church?
My parents met through the church. Both my parents are converts to the Mormon church. My mom was a convert at the age of 16, and my dad was a convert at the age of 18.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So after you, quote unquote, drank your way out of OSU, is that whenever you decided to join the military?
No. No. Not at all. I joined the military on a whim.
Oh.
That's how I joined the military. I came back home, and my grandpa was dying of prostate cancer. So I was at home for about 6 months around that time. And he died of prostate cancer, and I was pretty angry at my family because I thought that they should have done more to be there.
My condolences.
Yeah, and I was mad, so I wanted to get out of Oklahoma, and I ran across somebody that I went to high school with that joined the military. He goes, "Oh, well, give the Navy a shot." So I went to a recruiter. I took the ASVAB, told him I wanted to be a medic, and 3 weeks later I was in boot camp.
Wow.
My mom was pissed. She was pissed.
Was she more pissed about you?
I think she got her feelings hurt.
Right.
I think that's what it was. And if I had to do it over again, no, I would still do the military. It was the best mistake I've ever made in my entire life.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Was she more pissed about the military or college?
I think she was more pissed about the military. She didn't want me to, I don't know, see anything that may hurt me in the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
How'd your father feel about it?
It's like, well, you go out there and do something. Like my dad really never gave me a whole lot of advice. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is there a history of military service in your family that you're aware of?
Not at all.
Not at all.
As far as I know, well, my grandpa wanted to be in the military, but he broke his hip whenever he was younger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have a few great uncles that were in World War II, but other than that, I don't think I have any members in my family that were in the military.
Did you ever talk to your great uncles about their military experience?
Just my Uncle Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was a Navy corpsman as well.
Oh, okay. So maybe you wanted to follow in his footsteps a little bit?
No, because I know my Uncle Bob hated the military.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he talked about it all the time. Yeah.
So do you want to be a doctor?
No. I just knew that I liked the idea of helping people.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be put in a position to where I would kill somebody.
Understand.
So I like the idea of being able to fix somebody rather than to harm somebody.
Why Navy then?
Well, I thought the Navy would be really cool. You get to see the whole world and, I don't know, just travel around, see what other people are like. The idea of traveling the sea seemed exciting to me, but I never saw a ship. They attached me to a Marine unit, and I remember getting out of boot camp, and they said, you're going to an FMF unit. I'm like, what does FMF mean? It's like Fleet Marine Force. I'm like, what? It's like, wow, what? Really? Yeah, I had no idea that the Marines didn't have their own medical. So they attached me to an infantry unit. And I learned how to shoot and kill with the rest of them. So, yeah, it was, yeah.
So where did you do your basic training?
I did my basic training in Great Lakes.
Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was a Navy basic training
That was
facility?
my Navy. And then I did it was FMTB, Field Medical Battalion, in Camp Lejeune. Actually, Camp Johnson. It's in, Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Okay. And were you training with Marines at that point?
No, it was a medical battalion. So,
Okay.
like, we were still training with corpsmen.
So beginning with basic training, what was your general average day like training?
We'd wake up early in the morning for reveille, and then we would make our racks really fast. They'd tear them up, make our racks really fast. I don't know, just a lot of folding clothes. If you really want to get, boot camp was a lot of tedious things that you could just never do right.
Right.
So every single time you brought something to them for them to expect, they would just tear you a new one. And then you just couldn't do anything right. It was all a game. Like, once you realize that it was a game, you're fine.
Right.
Because they're just trying to break you down to where you have to ask questions with whatever you do, because you can't do it right. So you don't ever do things on your own. The idea was that you just can't do it right, so you have to make sure with them on how to do it.
So
It was good. It was, yeah.
what about physical activity while you were training?
The PT stuff in the Navy was weak sauce. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty weak. Yeah.
Okay. So what about after you graduated boot camp? Well, first off, how many weeks was it?
That was 9 weeks.
9 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you go after boot
Then I went to my A school,
Okay.
which is where I got designated a quad zero.
And
So
what does A stand for?
I think that's, well, you get A schools, B schools, and C schools
Oh, okay.
for,
Gotcha.
yeah. So like a B school would be like an X-ray tech.
Okay.
So it's different designators that you can put at the end of your.
And were you trained in first aid to begin with, and did it go from there?
Yeah, they train you in first aid, they train you in anatomy and a little bit of physiology, and I don't know, you would learn how to do some combat stuff, but not really too much. And a lot of that was, there was nothing physical involved in that either. It was just classes all day, and we did that for about 3 months.
Did they do written exams?
It was a multiple choice exam.
Multiple choice. Okay.
Yeah.
How do
we
you
go-
do in that?
Well, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And how?
Because you're spending all your time in class, you know what I mean? So they provide you a way to where you won't mess up.
So what did you guys do to relax from a day inside a classroom?
You didn't have any time to relax during the weekdays, and during the weekends we all drank. So
You started drinking right out of high school and college?
Well, not right out of high school.
At
but-
OSU.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you still drink?
No, I don't drink at all. I don't even slightly touch it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So, how long did that last?
The drinking?
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. The
It's
school.
getting personal?
Yeah, no, the medical school.
The medical school,
That-
about 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
And where did you go from there?
Then we got 2 weeks leave, and then we went to Field Medical Battalion
Okay.
with FMTV in North Carolina.
Right. Describe that.
Basically, we were learning Marine rank and recognition, how to shoot our M4s, how to do combat training. We got TCCC certified, and I don't know. We just did that was a lot more physical and a lot more exhausting, I would say.
Right. How did the Marines interact with you?
Well, we didn't. The Marines were our trainers, so they were our drill sergeants. So they yelled.
Right.
Yeah, but they were great to us once we actually got attached to a unit. The
Right,
Marines were
right.
great to us.
Okay. Did you make any friends during that time? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still friends with them?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember their names or?
Yeah.
Of course you remember them
Yeah.
because you're still friends.
We're still friends.
Okay. Do you keep up with them on like social media, Facebook?
Oh, I keep up with about 5 of them on social media. We'll talk about once a month or about once every 3 weeks, just to say hi, how you doing. And some of them, of that 5, I don't talk about it. We talk about every 3 months or every, I don't know, semi-annually. It's not very often.
Right. So after you graduated that school, what did you do from there?
They attached me to my unit,
What was your unit?
3rd Battalion, 9th Marines.
3rd Battalion, 9th Marines. Okay.
Yeah.
So was there a pride within the 9th Marines that you were aware of?
Well, they just set up that unit. So whenever I got
Oh,
there, we were
okay.
setting up everything. So we were doing the ghost records for everybody. We were doing all of the medical for everybody, all the vaccinations. We had to do a whole bunch of training to get certified to go to Iraq. So we went to Yuma, Arizona to do helo training, and that was really cool. I liked that a lot.
What's that like?
Well, we'd get up on it. We do helicopter training, so we'd get on a helicopter, and they'd take us out on these helos and drop us off in the middle of a desert, and then we'd run security and set up a fob, and then we'd take down the fob and go back. And
What
we
does
just did training.
FOB stand for?
Forward operating base.
Oh, okay. Right,
Yeah.
Right. So what did you like most about that? The helicopters? Or the
I'm
desert?
terrified of heights, so I just like the helicopters the most out of all that.
Really?
But it was just cool to do the training. It was really fun. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Lost a lot of weight out there.
How did you guys stay hydrated?
I did a good job of staying hydrated. Other people did not. So because it was my job to stay hydrated and keep everybody else hydrated.
Right.
Yeah.
So you basically took care of everyone else's health while you're in the field.
Yeah.
How long would you be out in the desert after they dropped you off?
We lived out in tents, for about 2 months. 2 months we were out in the Yuma Proving Grounds, and we just lived in a tent for 2 months, and we got to take a shower about once a week.
Nice.
Yeah. Some of the officers went to In-N-Out, I remember one time, and brought us back hamburgers. So that was nice. It was really nice.
What year was that?
Oh, jeez. 2009?
2009?
2009?
And you guys were preparing to go to Iraq?
We were preparing to go to Iraq. So we went to 29 Palms afterwards, because that's the final thing that you have to do before you go to Iraq. And in 29 Palms, we didn't have any of our ghost records made, which is not good. So I spent all my time making ghost records for everybody.
Could you explain what a ghost record is?
It's medical records that you can take with you. You make copies of pertinent information of everybody, and you take that with you to Iraq, because you're not actually supposed to take your medical records with you from the States to Iraq, because there's a big chance of you losing them.
Right.
So you make copies of everybody's medical records, and those are called ghost records.
Okay.
So I spent, I was supposed to be out in the field, but I spent about 3 weeks making ghost records for the whole battalion, which is about 1,200 people.
Okay. So the 1,200 people, how many other corpsmen were assigned to that battalion that you know of?
It was about 40 of us,
Okay. So about
30 or 40,
one
somewhere
for-
around there. Yeah,
One for every 30?
yeah.
Okay. And how many were in your group whenever you... I'm sorry to go back to the...
No, you're
To the
fine.
helo operations. How many would be in that group?
There's always 2 corpsmen with a platoon.
And was dehydration your primary concern?
Dehydration was our primary concern.
Okay. Did
So IVs, like if somebody gets dehydrated, that was pretty much what we did, and then we ship them back to the proving grounds or to a hospital.
Okay. So after that, it's your last training facility before Iraq. How long were you there?
Geez, I think we were there for 2.5 months and 29 palms, and we just lived in the Quonset hut, and then we'd go out to the field for about a week, come back to the Quonset hut, go back to the field for about a week, come back to the Quonset hut.
So, what else did you guys do? Did you get to go on leave or interact with civilian populations there in that town?
Are you talking about in 29 palms?
Yeah.
No, we didn't leave the base. We didn't interact with civilian populations at all.
Okay.
So what they did, they teach us how to like breach houses and set up fobs and do tactical training, shoot mortars, run comm, just a whole bunch of stuff, like a whole bunch of really cool stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed that part of it as well? Just the training for it?
Well, you don't get any sleep. And, if you're not complaining, you're not happy.
Right.
That's the way I look at it if you're in there with the Marines.
So, how many hours of sleep did you get at all per night?
Not much, because you're always having to do watch. And corpsmen aren't supposed to do watch, but we do watch too.
Did you guys
So-
fall asleep on watch? Never
No.
mind, don't answer that. I don't
No,
want to get you in trouble.
no, no, we did not. I didn't fall asleep on watch at all.
Oh, okay. So, what was the general feeling about being deployed to Iraq within your circle of friends?
Oh, we were all excited about it.
Yeah.
We were all very excited about it. I really wanted to go because I've done all the workups for the last 7-8 months.
So you were prepared.
I was
and
prepared
trained and
to
ready to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really wanted to go, and then I dislocated my shoulder, and I couldn't put it back in socket, and I didn't get to go.
How exactly did you dislocate your shoulder?
I was wrestling with somebody, and we were just playing around, and it came out, and I couldn't put it back in, and they took me to the hospital, and they asked me how many times I dislocated it before that, which was a lot.
Oh, so you had dislocated it before.
I dislocated it in boot camp. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to stay in boot camp any longer than what I had to.
How did it happen in boot
I
camp?
rolled off my rack. I wish I could say it was something, manly,
Right.
but it was just pure stupidity.
Right.
It just rolled off, and then, those racks are like 6 feet tall.
Were you asleep?
I was asleep.
Wow.
Hit it, came out, and then went back in really quickly. But then it came out a lot after that. It came out about 12 or 13 times.
Wow.
So I shouldn't have been wrestling with the guy that I was wrestling with. His name was Davis.
Was that more training or horseplay?
We were horse playing.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
wasn't
Just
tra-
guys being guys.
It was,
or-
yeah.
Okay. And so, did your unit deploy right after that?
That was the most efficient thing I've ever seen in my entire life, was them getting me out of the unit.
Wow. So you don't really know.
No, they went to Iraq. They went to
Okay.
Iraq about 2 weeks, because I did it 2 weeks before we were going to go to Iraq, because we went on leave, and then we were going to be there for a month and then go to Iraq. And I did it 2 weeks before, and then they moved me over to the hospital to do admissions at the hospital.
How long did you do that?
For 6 months, I think.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was okay. Like, yeah, it was all right.
Good.
Yeah.
And I interrupted you before you said surgery?
hmm
Okay.
I had surgery probably about a month after they actually, documented that I dislocated my shoulder.
Okay. How is it now?
I've had another surgery since then, but I'm thinking it's okay now.
Okay. What's the Army done to help you out throughout that process of dislocating your shoulder and the surgeries?
The VA's done a really good job. And Tricare is an excellent healthcare program, like absolutely excellent. Whenever I dislocated my shoulder and had surgery over in North Carolina, really it didn't take too long for them to fix it. It took a few months for them to. With Tricare, you have to be persistent at making sure things get done. So, and
Right.
and I knew how the system worked because I was in the system,
Right.
so I got it taken care of fairly quickly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, would it be fair to say that you were disappointed not to go to Iraq?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's what I trained to do.
Right, right.
I was excited to go.
All right. Okay. So 6 months after that, did you discharge?
Yeah, I was released. I was National College Service, so what they do was 2 months active duty, or not 2 months, 2 years active duty and 2 years active duty reserve. So my
Okay.
contract was up by then
Right. Right. So you were on reserve at that
for 2
point?
years. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what did you do after you got out of the military?
Well, I went home, and then I enrolled at TCC,
Okay.
and then I went there for a semester because my grades weren't the best from that last semester at OSU.
Right.
And then after that, I went there for a semester, and then I came back here.
So did you go to school on the GI Bill after that?
Yes, I did. And GI Bill is fantastic.
Wonderful.
Absolutely fantastic. It pays for tuition and fees, and then I get $1,086 a month to live on.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
That's-
work at the VA, and
What do you do at the
Yeah.
VA?
I help certify claims, and I love that job.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds like the military really helped you structure your life and be productive and successful and prepare you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How exactly do you feel that it prepared you for college, the transition back into college?
I think age helped a lot with that. I would say that what the military helped with me was I was naive with people, and I learned very quickly not to be as naive as I was.
What do you mean by you were naive with people?
I don't know. I thought everybody had like this innate good.
Wow.
So I was, you know what I mean? I was very trusting. Like if somebody needed something, I'd be like, oh, well, here it is. And I learned not to be as trusting.
How do you learn that experience, if you don't mind my asking? It sounds like there's a story there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had friends that, I don't know, because in high school I never had bad friends or anything like that, or friends that, I couldn't trust. But I made some friends in the military that if they found out that you had something or had money, they would always ask you for it. And I was one of those people that, I'd be like, oh, well, yeah, you need help paying your rent? Yeah, I'll help you pay your rent. I just, can you give me that back? And that would never happen. So I learned very quickly not to lend money or, I don't know, not to be as trusting or giving as I was.
You sound like a very nice guy.
Maybe you just caught me on the right days. Maybe that's
Right.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they just caught me on the right days.
Right. Okay. So after you got out of the military, did you reconcile things with your mom? Or had you already reconciled?
I reconciled things probably while I was in the military.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whenever you got out, did you go back home?
I lived at home for about 2 weeks before I realized that wasn't going to work. I realized.
So you had grown out of that throughout the military then?
Yeah. Well, I didn't like having to. I guess she still tried to put a curfew on me. So I was like, "Are you serious?"
Okay.
So yeah. She's a wonderful person. I love my mom very much.
Right.
Very much. But yeah, she's a mom. So.
Right. Did you move back in with your siblings as well then at that point?
My brother was on his mission at that point, so I didn't get to see him.
Okay.
And my other brother was in college.
Okay.
So, but I was there for 2 weeks, and then I moved in with a friend. He owned a house, so he was looking for a roommate, and it was a great fit.
Did that work out for a long while, or?
It worked out for the semester that I was there, and then I went to Oklahoma State.
Okay.
And I knew I wanted to go back to Oklahoma State because I wanted to prove to myself I could actually go to here again and not mess up.
Right. Prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came back here.
What year was that?
Oh gosh, 2010.
Okay.
Fall 2010.
Fall 2010. And
Yeah.
what do you study?
Or maybe spring 2000. Sorry, spring
Yeah.
2011.
Okay. And what's your major?
Secondary education, physical education.
Physical
Yeah.
education. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel that your military may have influenced that decision to go with physical education?
Oh, I love to work out. Yeah. And I used to hate it. Like I used to hate lifting weights, and I used to hate that type of stuff. But I love moving, and I got into running in the military, and I used to hate running whenever I was in high school.
Right.
Like
Well, you're
despise it.
always an athlete, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
So you work for the Veterans Office here.
Mhm.
What do you do there?
Well, I guess I answer phones, talk to students, talk to them about, I don't know. I want to answer this carefully because I do a lot of stuff that I don't think I'm supposed to be doing, but I do it. So I answer phones, answer emails, and talk to students, tell them about their benefits, and direct them if I don't know the answer to one of my supervisors.
So you're like a desk assistant?
Yeah, more like a secretary, I guess, is what I would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you like helping, of course you probably do, like helping veterans enroll back into school?
No, I love helping veterans enroll back into school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the GI Bill is the best thing that ever happened to them. And especially if they use it, I'm excited to help them use it.
Do you ever offer them advice?
I am not allowed to offer them advice.
Oh, I meant on how to do well in college.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how far away are you from your bachelor's?
I student teach in the fall.
Okay. Student teach. How does that work?
Basically, we applied for a student teaching position. I was going to do England through the Department of Defense, but I met somebody, so I'm going to stay here.
Instead of going to the United Kingdom?
Instead of going to England, yeah.
How long would you have been in the United Kingdom?
For 3 months. And I don't really want to spend the money on the passport, the background check, the work visa, and I would rather spend that money on buying a down payment for a house.
Oh, wow. So you
Because-
met someone, you're in a relationship?
Yeah,
How long have you been in a relationship?
this is ridiculous. I don't even want to say because I'm ashamed of it. It's been 5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I
Love
met
at
her.
first sight?
Yeah. And I'm not like that. I'm sorry. I'm not even. I think people that do that are naive and stupid. But I guess I'm naive and stupid. Yeah.
How'd you guys meet?
At a Mormon dance.
At a Mormon dance. Good.
Yeah.
Does that make your family proud?
I'm not happy unless I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, I understand. So you're happy.
I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy.
Good,
And
good.
if my parents are happy, then I'm happy, then that's fantastic. But I'm not doing it for my parents.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right. And you're 28 years old?
29.
29, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. 28 sounds better. We'll go with that. Can we say that? Can we lie?
So what do you plan on doing after you graduate?
Well, I applied for the police department over in Norman and Oklahoma City because I want to get over there as quickly as possible, and they pay more than teaching. So I've been debating on transferring my credits just for a general study degree because I have, I think, 154 credit hours because I've changed my major several times.
I think I graduated with 134. So
Yeah, so you changed them. Yeah.
highly educated.
Yeah,
Jim.
yeah.
Yeah.
Master at nothing, but know a little bit about everything.
That's the Renaissance man.
The Renaissance man.
That's an honorable thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, whenever you join the police force, is that still a government job, and do you get benefits from the Army? From
It's
the
a state
Navy
job.
For that?
No.
Oh, state, so
Yeah.
it's different. Okay.
Mhm.
Do you know about the training process for that?
Yeah, you'd go into the academy for about 3 months, and then you'd be on a probationary period. And then I think it's like 6 months, I think. I don't know. I have to read into it.
Right.
I also did this on a whim. So
Okay.
that might be a... But I don't even know if I got the job. So my main goal is just to finish out the degree. But if I get the job, I'm going to Norman.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good luck with that. So how has the military shaped your philosophy on life? Such as, how has it prepared you to be successful in life? That's
Yeah.
that's the brainer.
That's the brainer.
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up in a very great household, and I wasn't aware of the bad things that could happen in the world, or how horrible people could treat each other, or how horrible we could be to one another. Like, I realized that the world was broken in the military. Like, I realized that, and I saw people do things to each other that were horrible to each other. And I want to do my part to help put it together. And I think the military made me realize that it's broken, and made me realize that it's my job and everybody's job to help put it back together.
Wow. Does that has that influenced your decision to be a police officer?
I like the idea of helping people, and I like the idea of serving my community.
Okay.
That's why I like the idea of teaching, because I like the idea of serving my community.
Likewise. If you had one thing that you would want future generations to learn from your experience throughout life, what would that be? If that doesn't seem redundant.
Yeah. I guess the more something seems impossible, the more of a moral imperative that it is. And I want them to see that. So the harder it seems to forgive somebody, or the harder it seems to let go and stop being angry, it's a moral imperative to do that one thing. I don't know if that made any sense at all.
Yeah, it did. It was profound.
No, thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to share that I haven't asked?
I want you to know I love my mom so much. My mom means a whole lot to me.
We'll be sure to.
Yeah.
send her
So
a
yeah,
transcript.
just let don't.
Well, her being in the medical field, did that influence you to choose that?
You know what?
Right.
Actually, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I knew that, she can do it, I can do it. That's what I thought. I was like, if she can do it, I can do it.
What was the hardest part of being in the military?
There were a lot of suicides. And part of my job was to clean it up. So I did not like doing that. That was the hardest part for me.
You mean in your unit?
Yeah, in the unit, a lot of wives, whenever we did emissions, would try to commit suicide. Because if you think about it, it'd be a 19-year-old girl, and they'd marry this guy. He would join the military, and they would take her from a place that she knew to a place that she didn't know. And she had nobody else around her. And she had 50,000 Marines that all are just trying to sleep with her. And I think it's a horrible environment to have a young family in. So I guess my advice to somebody in the military is, young in the military, don't marry a 18-year-old girl and take her away from her family.
You mean living on base?
Living on base, and don't have her live on base. That would be my advice, because a lot of them, they weren't serious about the suicide because it was just pills or cutting their wrist, but it's hard for them. And, you know, and then you leave on deployment and you leave that 18, 19-year-old girl there alone. So my advice would be not to have a young family in the military.
You make that sound like that was a common occurrence.
It was fairly common.
Wow. And how did you deal with that?
I was angry. I was angry quite a bit. So, yeah, I was angry quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the opposite of that, what was your most memorable experience on the positive side of that?
I loved the people that I was with. I loved the friends that I made. And the friends that I made were great friends. If you found somebody you could trust, that's a friend for life. And my best friend was from a completely different background than me. He was an inner city black kid from Charleston, South Carolina. And we didn't seem to go together at all. But he had my back, and I had his back. So, and...
Was he a fellow corpsman?
He was a fellow corpsman.
Okay, and was he deployed?
Yeah, he's been deployed a few times.
Was he at basic training with you, or?
He was in, I knew him a little bit in A school, but I really got to know him in Field Medical Battalion.
Of those that were scheduled to deploy with, did they all come back?
Yeah, not a single person died over in Iraq. We were only over there for 68 days.
Your mother knows that would be be helpful to her too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
So you were in 4 years?
Well, I guess if you count the the active reserve part of it, I was in for 4 years. So I did my, I don't know, weekend a month, 2 weeks a year thing.
Could you have stayed in longer, even with your shoulder the way, if you had wanted to?
Because I was only 20% disabled.
Okay.
That's what they rated it.
What made you decide not to go back?
I don't like being told what to do. I don't like. I love helping people, and I love having. Somebody will ask me to do something. I love doing that. I'd be like, yes, I will gladly do it. But as soon as somebody demands something of me, there's an innate thing in me that wants to fight them on it, and I had a big problem with that in the military. And I got in trouble a lot because of that.
I understand. It seems like that's a common theme throughout your narrative. The authority.
The authority, yeah.
Right. I think a lot of people can relate to that, though.
Yeah.
And it's also common to the American sense of individuality, right?
Yeah.
We don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
What would you have to do when you got in trouble? What would they have you do?
Man, I was a why. Like, why this, why that? And I did my job enough to where I never really got in too much trouble. So they would just yell at me. And, getting in trouble in the military, you have to do reports. And they're lazy. They don't want to do the report. Not for somebody asking why. And I didn't cause enough problems to really rock the boat.
Now, you've heard stories of doing KP duty or peeling potatoes or
No,
stuff
I mean,
like
the
that.
only thing that I almost did was hit my LPO. That was the only thing that I almost did that was really, really bad.
Do you want to describe the circumstances there?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
So I did want to ask, how do you cope with people yelling in your face? Do you just ignore it, or you get used to it, or
Yeah.
in the above?
Yeah. Well, you realize it's a game. They have a job to do, and their job is to direct the game. So you play along with the game. And if you realize that, your life is going to be really easy. If you want to fight that, your life is going to be really hard.
You played basketball in high school, so did you play any in the military, like a league or anything like that?
No, because my shoulder kept coming out of the socket. So I don't really play too much basketball anymore.
When you knew your last day was coming, how did you celebrate, or did you celebrate?
I drank. That's what I did. I only stopped drinking about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and then I wanted to, I wanted a relationship with God again. Like, I knew that I wanted that, and it was really important for me to do that. And I was darn sure I didn't want to be Mormon. I was absolutely sure I didn't want to be Mormon. But my brother wrote me a letter while I was on his mission, and he said, "Give it one more shot." And I said, "Okay, yeah, I'll give it one more shot. I'll try." I never did. I never did. But somebody in my church died. Tracy Vick. He was a dentist in Edmond. So I went to his funeral, and I don't know, I knew I had to go back. I knew I had to go back. And I was like, crap, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? I don't like the structure of the Mormon religion. I don't like the authority of the Mormon religion. But I knew I had to do it. I had to do it. So I went back, and I have a huge faith problem, and I developed faith, and once I actually was able to, I don't know, give my heart to something that I couldn't see, touch, or feel, it was easy, and I got it. I got it. Right then, I got it, and I've been good ever since.
Well, do you have to do a mission now then?
No, I don't. I'm too old. They
You're
won't.
too
They
old?
don't want to
There's
take
an
me.
age? Okay.
Yeah, I plan on getting married. That's what I plan on doing.
Do you plan on having children?
Yeah, I'd love to have children.
How would you feel if your children asked for your permission one day to join the military?
I say that's your choice, and you need to make that on your own. I'd tell them about all the horrible experiences that I had, and I wouldn't tell them about any of the good ones because I wouldn't want them to do it, but that would be their choice.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but it's been a great thing for me to do that. I learned so much, and I made wonderful friends, and I get a free education.
That is a wonderful benefit.
Yeah, I am extremely lucky and fortunate, and I never saw any combat. I don't understand why I'm so lucky. I wake up every morning, and I don't understand why I'm so lucky.
So as a corpsman, did you, what other issues did you face? You mentioned suicide with the women on base. Was that, did that happen with the men too? Or
Yeah,
was it common?
suicide was common, and I'm probably not even supposed to be saying it, but yeah, suicide was common.
So what was the most positive experience for you in the military of an individual episode that you saw the best in people that you might have witnessed?
Leonard, my friend that was in South Carolina, I don't know, we just took care of each other. Like, if he needed something, I would give it to him. If I needed something, he'd give it to me. Like, I knew that if I was in any trouble at all, he was going to, we were going to help each other. Like, if I got drunk in a club, he was going to make sure I got out of that club. If he got drunk in a club, which he never did, I was going to make sure he got out of that club. And, you find people like that. Like, I don't know, you eat, sleep, play, live with those people. So you become really close to them.
Has he been to Oklahoma?
No, he hasn't been to Oklahoma. He just had a baby girl not too long ago, though.
Have you been to South Carolina?
Yeah, I've been with his family because, North Carolina wasn't too far, so I've spent holidays with his family. Yeah. I haven't seen him since I've been out. Just wrote him on Facebook, and that's about it.
He got out too at the same time you did?
No, because I did the 2 years. Yeah, he did a 6-year contract, so he should be out here in a little bit unless he re-upped, which he was thinking about doing. But he was in, he was on he's in a hospital unit over in Italy right now. So I think they pulled him to ship him off to Afghanistan, but he came back not too long ago. Yeah. But he was a really good friend. McDougal was a really good friend. Marone, Fields, they were all really, really good friends.
So the friend that mentioned that maybe you should join the Navy, did you remain friends with that individual?
I hardly knew the guy other than high school.
Okay.
I just wanted to get out of Oklahoma. That was an excuse.
Are any of your friends that were military friends still in Oklahoma, or are any of them from Oklahoma?
No, Ohio, South Carolina, Connecticut, California. Let's see here. Yeah, Michigan. It's all over but Oklahoma.
So, you mentioned the United Kingdom. Do you plan to travel one day?
No, this is home.
Oklahoma's home?
Oklahoma's home. I just like the idea of working through the Department of Defense because they pay their starting teachers $90,000 a year. So I was excited about that.
Okay.
So I was going over there looking as a application for a job.
And you're considering buying a home in Oklahoma, right?
Mhm.
And you said Norman?
Norman.
How do you deal with the tornadoes in Oklahoma? I've only been here for less than a year.
Oh, I'm one of those idiots out there with the camcorder. That's the way that I am.
Have you experienced them here?
No, honestly, not too much. Like, we used to go, we're stupid. Oh my goodness. Yeah, in high school, we used to go out, try to go storm chasing, because I lived in Tulsa, and we don't really have a whole lot of tornadoes in Tulsa.
Right.
So, like, we'd go out there, and we see wild clouds, and we see them drop, but they never touch. But as far as, like, seeing a tornado actually touch the ground, maybe once, like, it was close, and you could see things kind of come up a little bit, and then it went back up. So nothing too bad.
So that's what teenagers do in Oklahoma for
That's
fun.
what we do for fun. Yeah. We played basketball, and we videotape wall clouds.
Well, so what other activities are you involved in?
Oh, church. I just do church all the time. Church and traveling back to Norman and here. And she comes here, and I don't know, we try to switch about. I go over there way more. She's been over here only about 6 times, but that's pretty good within 5 weeks, I think. So
I'm very interested in your religion. Do you try to talk to other people about your religion and share your experiences with them?
no, not really, because I don't know, like, it was such a personal thing for me.
Your religion.
My religion was such a personal thing for me, and it took me so long to get it. It took me a long time to get it. So, like, I probably should. Like, if you believe something, you probably should share it with as many people as you possibly can. But it's mine. It's my faith. I finally got it. You know what I mean? I should share it more. But no, I don't go tracting with them, or I don't sit out there at the booth and try to convert people.
What kind of other organizations are you involved in outside of religious?
Oh, let's see here. I guess I'm in the physical education club. I don't know. But yeah, honestly, I mean, it eats up a lot of my time, because on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights I go to religious classes, and then on Sunday, it's a 3-hour service, and then I go to ward prayer, and then I'm on the activities committee, which means I plan activities for the month, and and I'm constantly meeting with the state presidency. Like, it's
Any veterans organizations?
no, not my church is my full-time, or my other full-time job, I guess.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
But other than working for the VA office, I guess that would be my only other activity that I have with military members.
Overall, would you say that you feel proud, or how do you feel overall about your military experience?
I feel ashamed that I didn't do anything. I didn't go to Iraq or Afghanistan. I feel ashamed of that. And I'd like to eventually go. Like, if they called me up to go, I would still love to go.
care to share any reasons behind the reasons you would love to go?
That's why I signed up.
So
I signed up to serve that cause.
okay.
So, and I feel ashamed that I wasn't able to do that.
Have
And
you
I
ever
get all these benefits from not doing that. I mean, that's the reason why these benefits are set up, because those people sacrifice something. And I feel like I have not sacrificed anything. You know, like I've just sacrificed a little bit of time, and I've done some cool training with them, and I've done some awesome things with them, but I've never had to sacrifice anything at all, and I get all this. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then people that come back, I mean, some of them don't even know how to get it or where to go.
How did you help your fellow soldiers while you were in the military?
Just medical, I would say. And if they needed anything, I would try to be there for them.
Anything specific?
I don't know. I paid a few people's rents and cell phone bills. I guess that would be.
How about medically?
Medically, there'd be some people that that were pretty depressed, and you would try to make sure that they had a buddy with them or somebody around them all the time. And I tried to be as good to them as I possibly could, because the Marines, the way that they worked, I mean, if you can't cut it, they want you out. They don't want you a part of them.
Sounds like you provided a noble service to your country.
Well, I don't know about that, but I was happy to be a part of them while I was there, and I'm very proud of that.
Have you ever used that training outside of the military in your civilian life?
No, I haven't really used any medical training outside in my civilian life. I've taken first aid classes, and that's been nice because I already know what's going on there, but no, I wish I had. That would be really cool if I was able to save somebody's life. That would be really awesome.
Yeah, in a police position you may.
Yeah, in a police position I may. I was able to do stem cells, donate stem cells, because I was in the military. I was put on a donor list, and I was a match, and the DOD called me to go to Washington to donate stem cells.
So you flew to D.C. to do
They
it?
flew me to D.C., provided me with a hotel, did a physical over there, flew me back to Oklahoma, and then flew me back to D.C. to get injected with this medicine that's supposed to boost my white blood cell count for, I don't know, they gave it to me for like a week. And then I gave my stem cells to somebody that had leukemia. So, and I
Wow.
would have probably never thought about being on the donor list if I wasn't in the military. Apparently I signed up in boot camp. I don't remember. I signed a lot of things. I probably signed a lot of things for a lot of other things. So
I'm sure that that patient was very appreciative.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Did you get to sightsee at all in Washington whenever you went?
yeah. My dad went with me. My dad was
Okay.
there with me, and he's a doer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and that medicine makes you sick as a dog. But he wanted to go do stuff, so I was out and about with him the whole time.
Was it a bonding experience for
Yeah,
you?
you know what? It was really good. I think he has sleep apnea, so he might want to get that looked at because he snores like a freight train. But yeah, it was a bonding experience to say the least. It was really good. I was glad I was able to spend the whole week with him.
Good. And so your military experience provided an opportunity for you and your father to bond then eventually.
I'm telling you, man, I'm blessed.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Is that good?
that's good.
All right.
We thank you for
All right.
sharing.